Hey, what is up, guys? Wallow J here. I'm here with my co-host Egg. Egg, say what's up to the peoples.
What's up to the peoples?
And joining us, he's a PGF vet from season 5, coming back for season 6. Cam Hurd, what's up, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, man.
Outstanding, man.
Season 5, you had some exciting matches, bro. I mean, some of the most exciting. You had them. You were like flying all over the place.
Yeah. No, I didn't have the most experience in that rule set, but I definitely tried to make it entertaining, one way or another. So I had one of the best experiences of my life down there in season 5. So I'm like fucking stoked to be back here on season 6, and especially with such a deep roster. Just to see my name even on that list is like, whoa, because there's some names on there that are, top level competitors in the world. And, it's going to be an awesome season.
I mean, you've already seen the list. We don't have to tell you about it. Who's the guy that you're like, I got my eye on you for sure? You got to have one at least.
Oh man, I got a list. I got to kill.
It's like all of them. All of them.
I mean, really, like I'm an underdog. I got nothing to lose. So just about every name on that list, other than maybe a handful who are kind of in the same boat as me, are on my to kill list. I mean, I've had matches with Andy and ADCC Arizona, didn't go my way. I've had a couple matches with John Combs. Been tough matches, but again, didn't go my way. And so it's just like I'm just chipping away. And so getting an opportunity to knock off some of these names on that roster and move my way up that totem pole towards the top, that's enough for me. It doesn't take much to get me motivated. I find small little things to piss myself off and, convince myself that I've been disrespected and all this stuff. Whether I have been or not, it's kind of just competitive mentality,
Now that I know that, I'm going to be like, yo, I heard so-and-so talking shit about you.
And you drop a little bug in my ear.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Just to fire you up. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit, I might not. Maybe I won't do that. You might kill him or something. I don't know.
And that's the goal.
Hey, as long as you catch it on film, Wallow, we're good.
I guess that's the name of the game, right?
You're an accomplice.
Yeah.
Well, hey, they fill out the waiver. We're good.
True.
So actually, well, if we could just Cam, before we get started too far into everything, we're kind of saying that season 6 is actually almost like season 1 of the PGF, because now we're PGF World. We're really going to take it to the masses. Even though you are just a veteran of season 5, there's a fair amount of people that are going to be tuning in that might not know your story.
Yeah.
Could you just for the people, just give that kind of elevator pitch that, who is Cam Hurd, the grappler?
So, yeah, I mean, I was on the season 5, like you said, coming on to season 5, I feel like my storyline was like new to jiu-jitsu, but, I was a D1 wrestler. I wrestled at Virginia Tech. I've been wrestling since I was 5 years old. So like grappling is in my DNA, I guess. Jiu-jitsu at this point, I'm coming up on 4 years. So still fairly new compared to some of these guys that are on the roster, but, I'm already nipping at their heels. So I'm the grappler that's covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. And I'm looking to prove my name belongs up there at the top of this list for season 6, and up there at the top of the list with the best guys in the world. And the PGF is giving me opportunity to step out there on the biggest stage and have fun, but also prove what I got to offer, and that is in an entertaining style, high flying action all the time. And now that I'm getting more and more seasoned, and I've got one PGF season under my belt, the sub only rule set is getting a little more comfortable for me. I don't have to be as conscious about, position and not worrying about falling off in certain situations or whatnot. I can really, go after stuff and not worry about consequences, at least with points. So yeah, I mean, I'm a longtime wrestler, hardcore, been training jiu-jitsu for the last 4 years. And, I'm family guy, as I kind of talked about a little bit on the last season. The sport, I feel like, with anything requires sacrifice. Anything worth having is not easy. So, sacrifice away from my family. Thankfully, I've got a great support system at home. My wife, 2 daughters, mother-in-law, grandmother-in-law, my mom and dad back home, brother, sister-in-law, nieces, all them. They're all fired up. They're happy to see me on the PGF. They'll be following along every step of the way. And, I got that all in the back of my head of like, that's who I'm trying to do it for, to prove that I want to make them proud, right? As well as myself. I want to prove myself right because I think I'm the best. And I want to prove that. And I think season 6 is a good opportunity to do it.
That's part of your why. It makes total sense. And you had one of the most poignant moments of PGF season 5 when you talked about the sacrifice of missing Halloween, and we only get so many years with our kids with them in those outfits. And, it's tough to miss it. But, again, you're making it worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I keep telling them, I'm like, look, I promise you guys, I'm not doing this for nothing. And, they're all on board. Like even season 5, right before I came down, we all got dressed up. We did our own little miniature Halloween before I left. And, we got pictures and all that. Cause every year we do the whole family pictures and family costumes and whatnot. So they're sacrificing as well, so I'm making sacrifices, but my family's making sacrifices. And that's just more fuel for the fire, right? Like I'm not doing this just because I'm suffering. I'm doing this because I'm making other people around me suffer because they believe in me. So that's all I need. Like I said, I find ways to motivate myself. That's a pretty easy one, right? I got 2 beautiful little girls and for me to tell them something, I'm going to follow it up. I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to hold myself true to it. So I'm going to deliver on my end. I'm going to make it worth it.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Girl dad.
So, season 5, you mentioned was a lot of fun. Tell us, like when you were coming in, what were you expecting, and what was it? What you were expecting, or was it totally different?
It was totally different, honestly. Like even building up to it, like when I first heard about it, I was like, "That's a pretty sweet idea," But I guess it had been growing each season, a little bit bigger, and it makes sense because it's such a dope model. Like it's anybody that likes sports. This is, it hits all the check marks, right? So like the more I learned about it leading up to it, and I was like doing a little bit more research, looking at the past seasons, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. This might like go mainstream at some point. Like it's not just a small jiu-jitsu thing with like big ideas. It's like it's got its ducks in a row. And I showed up, and like it blew my expectations out of the water. Like just number one, the people, everybody involved, so cool. Like even the competitors talk shit back and forth, which is expected. You got a bunch of guys trying to rip each other's heads off. There's going to be some ego and some shit talking. But at the same time, everybody was super cool and very respectful. And it was just like a very welcoming environment because, some of these guys had done prior seasons. Some of these guys trained together. I'm not part of like the whole 10th Planet family, or at least I wasn't then. And now I feel like I've got major connections to a lot of guys in the 10th Planet system, and a lot of respect for these guys. And yeah, it was just like I said, just blew my expectations out of the water and had a blast. Being down there with Matt was fun. Of course, like I said, he and I are longtime friends. So then getting to hang out with B-Mac and you guys and other competitors and, being at the house and everything, the whole experience was just a lot of fun, even down to the training, like, the open mats and stuff the day before the competition, to go out there and roll out the soreness from last night and maybe, workshop a couple things that didn't go your way the night before, and just try to make those little improvements like on the fly. It's a cool experience. I've never really done anything like it before. So I'm really excited to, do it again and tenfold, on the bigger stage.
How was the house though?
The house was cool.
There was so many personalities there. It's like you got Elijah, you got Nick Creighton, you got Max Jolly.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of big personalities. We had a good time. We all kind of meshed pretty well. Nick brought an N64, which kind of brought us
Oh,
together on the first night. So he hooked up the N64. We played some Super Smash Brothers. We went grocery shopping and all that. We're trying to figure out how to survive the week, how not to starve to death and eat the right things to be able to put on a show and not, gas out. So the whole week is like, it's a little tough. You're out of your comfort zone for sure. You're meeting new people, you're creating new relationships. And yeah, I mean, I think that all the team as a whole, the Epic Roll House, like we all meshed pretty good. It was like everybody's competing against each other, but at the same time, we're on the same team. We're living in the same house. So, you got to learn little tidbits about each competitor and how they are, off the mat a little bit. And, it's turned into lasting relationships too. Every one of these guys, we've pretty much kept up, whether through social media or we're bumping into each other or competing against each other at these tournaments. I just had Nick at the ADCC AC Atlantic City. So, it's like
that was a match we didn't see in season 5.
Right. I was really glad to get that one because, with the teammates, the Yankees kind of I didn't get a shot at some of the best players. Like I got a shot at a lot of good guys. But there's always a handful of guys that you don't get to compete against, whether you're on the same team or it's just the way the draft or the lineups work out. I didn't get to see like Kevin, Kamoy, a couple guys that I really wanted an opportunity against and didn't get. But it's just kind of the way it plays out with the way it's set up. And yeah, like I said, it was a cool experience and made a lot of cool friends and relationships to carry forward.
Right on. And we're going into next week. I mean, not this week. It's Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, sir.
So you might see a few more of those guys.
Absolutely. And there's a fair chance I might see some of these season 6 guys too.
Yeah.
77 kilos, we're right here with the 175 weight class right around the corner for PGF. So, pretty much anybody that's in this division, I feel like if they're doing ADCC, it'll be at 77. So might get a little glimpse, kind of like me and Elkins last time.
I know, right? You guys were all over the place, and you almost went into like a commentator's table and shit.
We went off the mat a couple of times again, which is exciting.
It was like a WWE type of stuff. It's like back on the mats. Come on.
Yeah, man. That was a fun match. And, Elkins, he's a cool dude. Shout out to him because he's one of them. We weren't on the same team down there, but, we kind of got introduced to each other at East Coast Trials. And then, just talking to him through social media and hanging out with him down there at season 5. He's a great guy, good dude. And, yeah, it was a fun match for sure. We got to let it all fly for a little while.
For sure.
So obviously this weekend you have the West Coast Trials, and I'm sure you've been doing somewhat of a camp, some prep for that. Just making sure you get it all dialed in for that rule set. But as you said earlier, ADCC, you have points, you have advantages. Will you be able to shake off that mindset and get back in that PGF, sub only mindset in just the few weeks you have in between this West Coast qualifier and the PGF?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I mean, part of my training, knowing that season 6 is coming, even before I got word that I was in, like I wanted to make sure I was prepared just in case I got the call. So at least one of my training days every week was focused on sub only or escaping back or holding back for like the EBI overtimes once I get to the finale. So I've already been preparing for it. And then after trials, that'll switch gears to every day of the week will be focused on sub only. So I won't have too much ground to make up or any at all, really, because I've already been in that mindset at least a couple days a week. I was wrestling in college and training folk style and freestyle and these different rule sets and stuff. So I know how to kind of turn that on and off switch for certain things. And I think if anything, it'll be easier for me going from trials to the PGF rule set because I can it's more wide open. I don't have to worry about other than getting caught in submissions, obviously, but making a mistake and ending up on bottom and giving up a sweep. I don't have to worry about that. I can send it without any regret. So it's going to be full send for sure. Cause like I said, I'm the underdog I don't have anything to lose, and I'm coming with everything to prove. So it's going to be full send. I'm not going to be worried about giving up position. I'm going for kills and breaks.
No, and at that Atlantic City ADCC Open, we saw the results, because you know how Flo is. It's hard to see the matches, but you definitely had a much higher submission rate, so definitely PGF rubbed off on you. But I guess another question is, as a PGF veteran, how do you think that gives you an advantage going back into the PGF for another season?
I think it's a big advantage. I think just having the experience and knowing kind of what it feels like. I know it won't be the same, but I know at least I have a little taste. So I've got that little bit of experience, and I've always found myself where sometimes I might psych myself out first go round, and unfortunately, it kind of takes that first punch in the mouth to realize I'm good. I don't need to freak out so much, and I think that'll be the case for season 6. I got the reps in season 5. I've been under the lights, under that rule set, and now it's just like, that was the warm-up round. Now it's time to bring the heat, and I think that I'll be prepared and ready to deliver for those who draft me on their fantasy league for season 6.
So you're working on that killing stroke, I guess.
It is, and that was on my mind for Atlantic City, because I sent BMAC a message before, and I was like, look, I'm trying to get on season 6, and I'm competing at AC. I'm gonna put on a performance to back it up and let give you some justification for giving me a shot. So I was looking for kills and was able to find a couple, and the one being on Nick, specifically in a leg lock, for me was a big deal, just because
Nick's a leg locker.
You leg locked Nick Creighton?
I countered a leg lock into a knee bar, and finished him off.
Hell yeah. Love you too, Nick, but still, I'm just saying that, as Wallow said, Nick is he's known for leg locks, and you countered him. That's so money. Yeah, so that for me, that was big for my confidence, because like I said, I've been grappling my whole life. I've got that experience, but the leg locks are obviously new. I never dealt with somebody trying to break my legs when I was wrestling, and we have the refs potentially dangerous if it gets too out of hand. So learning leg locks and countering leg locks has been like one of the major focuses for me in these rule sets, the advanced division rule sets, that the knee bars, all that stuff. Because when I do IBJJF also, I don't have to worry about that either. The only thing at purple belt that they can do is a straight ankle. So I get away with a little more there. So being held accountable, and specifically for ADCC rule sets where all this stuff's legal, and to be able to know that I was able to counter Nick and get out of his attacks and then re-attack with my own and get the finish, it was huge for my confidence. So, now I don't have to panic as much when somebody touches my feet.
What was the confidence not quite there in season 5? You weren't sure?
Not really. Yeah. I told myself actually going there that I was going to pull guard and try to play some leg entries and stuff and just open it up. And once I got there, I went to what I know. I kind of reverted back to that top heavy wrestling, trying to smother people and get chokes. I think I dropped back for one straight ankle on Buddha and was close to getting it, but didn't end up getting it. And even that, like when I dropped back, I felt like a fish out of water. And came back from that and put a lot of time into making myself play bottom in training, and just forcing myself to get comfortable under there and entering into legs and using guard to sweep and everything, but just getting my game more well-rounded with those leg attacks and leg counters and leg escapes and everything. And I think it's definitely going to pay off in season 6. You might see me come out there and pull guard once or twice. Who knows?
Well, a wrestler pulling guard. I think I've seen this on Instagram. Just wrestle up. I saw that.
I mean, is he hurt? What's wrong with him?
Yeah. But to be fair, when I did wrestle up, it was IBJJF. So I was limited on what I could do from bottom anyways. And
okay.
I was like, I sat down and immediately was like, fuck this. But in a rule set where I can enter into reaps and, all that fun stuff, I'll be able to open it up a little bit more and hang out on bottom.
So talking a little bit more about being a veteran, Obviously you've probably seen us interview a bunch of people on the podcast. Inevitably, we start talking about how, the PGF is the Shark Week of Jiu-Jitsu. It's a gauntlet, 12 matches in the season, 3 matches each day. And inevitably we hear, oh, it's no big whoop. I do 6 to 10 matches every day anyways. It's no big deal. Stephen Aiken, PGF veteran, season 2, takes a little bit of issue with that, trying to always tell people it's a little bit different. Where do you come down on this kind of debate?
That was one of the things that, again, I was not expecting, because I'm like you. I'm like, I'm 10, 12 rounds on open mat Fridays and Saturdays, back to back for 2.5 hours, no problem. It's a little bit different. Number one, it's competition. It's not, your normal training atmosphere. So getting 3 matches a night with all that adrenaline and nerves and the mental aspect that you have to, which for me, I've kind of come to find a routine that helps and everything. And that was a good takeaway from last season, was just getting the reps on my routine, and to where it's just almost like second nature. It takes its toll physically, of course. By the last day, you're sore. Of course, everybody's sore, everybody's tired, everybody's mentally, everybody's pushing to make that final tournament and make the finale. But also, there's no doubt about it that it's a fucking gauntlet. And I think that's one advantage that I have on some of these guys. Even the biggest names, they've never competed in something like this. They've competed on the biggest stages in some cases, but they've never done it back to back to back to back, and then a day off and then a finale, So I think that I have a huge advantage on being there and feeling that in the past and knowing what that's like and knowing what to expect, so that I'm not kind of shocked by it. But I know it's going to be hard, and I know it's going to take a toll, but I also have felt it before, so I know I can survive it. I know it's nothing to worry about.
I know for a fact at least one guy has said that he's not. He didn't say he wasn't worried, but he's aware that the week is going to be tough, and that was Kieran Kitchuk. Everybody else has been pretty much saying, no big deal.
Yeah.
I do 10, 12 rounds, so I'm good.
Shout out to Kieran. I mean, that means obviously he's a smart guy. He gets it, because it's not easy. It's a gauntlet.
Yeah, very smart guy.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see, after day one, who's still going to believe the same thing, or who's going to be like, oh shit, it's a little bit tougher than I anticipated.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, we'll find out come April 21st.
Yeah, throw a little shade at Handsome Kev. He's one of them that got that extra day, right? He got his little pampering day on the couch with cucumbers on the eyes and and all that good stuff.
Damn it, Miggy, too thick.
Listen, he was hurt, so he had to take a spa day. No, we just happen to be there. Hopefully, if somebody gets, let's say, hopefully nobody gets hurt. But if they do and they need a spa day, hopefully we'll be there to record it again.
It brings them back stronger. But I mean, that's a testament to how tough the week is, right? I mean, at any point you could sustain an injury. It's jiu-jitsu, right? So knowing that
was day one
on night one, it's a long week ahead. Even if you get a day off, because I mean, everybody gave Kev shit, but he came back and still competed. I mean, a day is not enough to fully recoup your ankle if it pops. So give the devil his due, right? I mean, he came back and he finished the rest of the week and he scrapped it out. He did take a spa day, but we'll just put a little asterisk next to that.
But you got to remember too, you're not competing, so you're not getting any points. So he took his penance.
True, that's a good point. Yeah,
for the spa day, he paid his price for it. He didn't score no points.
Yeah,
so it was an uphill battle for him after that.
That's a good point.
Because he needed to get breaks or chokes, and maybe he didn't. When he came back. So,
I mean, you got to think one day is 25% of your matches.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. And we saw in season 3, Evan DeWitt got knocked out that first day, and he couldn't come back.
That was tough.
because Quadzilla just like about ripped his freaking foot off. We saw pictures of that ankle that next day. It was like, yeah, brother's not coming back.
Yeah,
that thing's like a softball.
Yeah, no fun.
So, well, I mean, again, hopefully that's another thing. Is like one experience that you have is that it's the gauntlet. It's a whole season long, and so we always, for people that are new, we try to warn them like, hey, you can't treat this like a one-day tournament. You can't just allow pops to happen. And it's okay, I'll let it pop a few more times. Like, no, unless you want that spa day,
right?
So, it's sometimes it can be strategic just to like, okay, congrats, you got me. Now, we're gonna
points and live to fight tomorrow and make them up rather than missing 3 matches.
So and also you already have a great mental mindset. Like, hey, I'm essentially 4 years in jiu-jitsu. I'm a purple belt. Low expectations. The fact that I'm going to mix it up with all these pillars, that's almost enough right there. I'm not saying that's what you're going to settle for, but I mean that already is something huge for somebody that's been for 4 years. This type of exposure on the big stage against these big people, and we know you're going to make highlights.
Oh yeah,
no question. You're too much of a competitor. You're going to be flying all over the dang mats, just like everyone else.
I'll be bleeding like last season.
We can hope so. I love a little blood.
Does that get you a little fired up? It's like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Yes, it does. When I start bleeding, I can turn it up another notch. I love that shit.
There you go. It goes to 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, hey, actually on that was like one of my favorite, the posters for the grapplers. So maybe let's take a second about that. I mean, have you seen Keelan's documentary of season 5?
I have, and holy shit, it was awesome. I mean, he did a great job. I shared it as much, all over my socials and try to word of mouth, let people know like, hey, I'm not just telling you this, but you should check this out because it's pretty fucking dope. And all the feedback I've gotten has been like, wow, this is really cool. What's the next season? It's perfect for building up the PGF and letting them know where they've come from, where they've gotten to, and where they're going. And yeah, I mean, it was an incredible documentary. I was thrilled to be a part of it. It was fun to watch. It was also cool, like, kind of nostalgic, like, oh, I remember that, and just kind of reliving that season 5, and just, lighting the fire and excitement for creating history in season 6. So yeah, man, it was a great documentary. So cool to see it on YouTube and also on UFC Fight Pass. Cause like when they announced that, I was like, whoa, this shit is hitting a whole nother level. Like,
it's real now, huh?
Yeah, for real. Like, this shit is streaming on UFC Fight Pass. Finale is going to be on UFC Fight Pass. And I mean, I've always been a huge UFC fan. And since I've started jiu-jitsu, I've always had this wild fantasy of like, what if I could make it to the UFC with jiu-jitsu without having to get punched in the face? And this thing is becoming more and more real every day.
And here you are on UFC Fight Pass, bro.
Hell yeah.
I made the joke too. I said, guys, I told my friends behind the scenes, like, just want to let you all know, I did make it to the UFC, and I didn't even have to throw a punch. All I had to do was just shoot people.
Hey, you're good at what you do, man. You're good at what you do.
I mean, talk about the nostalgia of the documentary of the grapplers, No Gi, No Money. We talked a little bit about you sacrificing, being away from your family. Have you had a chance to watch it with your family? What did they think about it?
Yeah, they all checked it out. They thought it was cool. And again, for them, they were watching every night back home and texting me afterwards. And, they were fully invested. And so for them to rewatch it and relive it, that just like everybody else that I know that watched it, my, parents and friends and brother and his wife, they got invested into the storylines of different fighters. And you're like, oh, how's this guy? Is he, is he really like this? Or is he just like that on camera? Or how's this guy, So like they're all into the storyline of it. And then to go back and recap it all on the, kind of like a condensed summary of it all. It was nostalgic for them too, from a viewer standpoint. They're like, oh, I remember watching that, or I remember that interview. Or maybe they didn't see this behind the scenes interview that they did. And so it kind of just like added to a little bit of their experience from last season. And again, it's all just leading up and building up the season to come, and seeing that this is something special and something really cool that people can get involved in, even if they don't do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It's we were talking to TJ DeSantis Friday, and we were talking about how it feels like the early days of MMA when he was, getting on TV and stuff like that. And that's how it feels right now with jiu-jitsu, being that the PGF is going into, UFC Fight Pass. The money's getting bigger, which is great for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be real. For a long time, there were the local tournaments were paying maybe $500, maybe $1,000 if it was a big bracket.
Yeah.
And now, you're going into a tournament that's going to be paying $100,000 to the winning team, and another $20,000 to, the champion, the finale champion. To you, what do you prefer? Do you want the team title, or do you want the solo title? What would be more what would you want more?
Shit, man. I mean, might sound selfish, but I want both.
No,
I think everybody on this show should say the same thing. You're walking into this with an opportunity to make significant amount of money, especially for jiu-jitsu. There's nothing, like this that's paying like this out there yet right now at all. This is it. It's taking it all to a whole new level. It's putting real money in people's pockets. I mean, even last year, like, shit, I made $1,200 before I even stepped on the mat. And I was just like sitting at a table, just letting them go back and forth and just smiling ear to ear the whole time. I'm like, hell yeah, y'all keep it going, So it's putting money in the fighters' pockets, and that's what it's about. That's why these guys, I'm fortunate to where, I'm in a position to where I'm not like dependent on jiu-jitsu. This is what I love. This is my passion. This is what I want to be dependent on. Whether it might sound crazy to some people to think that you would want to leave like a steady job to pursue something like submission fighting, but it's absolutely what I want to do. And, some of these guys, that's all they have too. And, I respect that. And, everybody's coming for their piece of the pie, but this is my piece of the pie this year. And, you guys can find pie somewhere else, but I'm taking this piece, and I'm going to take this money and I'm going to use it to hopefully, open up like a gym at some point, and, be an affiliate of my coach and turn this into a full grappling lifestyle where I can train all day. I can share jiu-jitsu with other people. I can teach my kids and their kids and friends jiu-jitsu, and use this to just grow jiu-jitsu as a whole, and maybe, produce my own PGF fighter one day from youth up to adult. But yeah, I mean, that's what it means for me. It's an opportunity at a huge chunk of change that can really be life-changing for anybody who wins it.
Yeah, man,
I want you to win now. Even if you don't win it, I want somebody to give you just like the money. Be like, just give
it. I'll take donations, you guys.
He's gonna use it for good.
Hell yeah, man. That's the dream.
We don't know what these other guys are gonna do. They're in Vegas, bro. They're probably just gonna go party and just hit the Spearman Rhino and
it'll be a good time, but not really long.
It'd be a good time for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. Then it's all over. I'm trying to build something lasting for years to come.
For sure, man. But I mean, I tell you what, it's not crazy to think that way, because when you have that corporate job that, it pays the bills, but it's not something that you feel like, deep inside.
Yeah.
It's almost soulless.
It is. It's an obligation. It's just so you don't wake up every day like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty fortunate. I got a good group of people that I work with. The customers that I call on, I've been calling on for years, and they're all great people. And even if I were to quit today, I would keep up with most of them personally outside of this. But again, it's not what lights my fire. It's because I have to do it. That's why I do it. So, I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to find a way to monetize my dream and pursue my dream and then just live a lifestyle that can supplement. Because I'm not done competing anytime soon. I might be 34, but I fucking feel 21. So,
bro, you're your prime. This is your prime. You got what, like another 5-6 years?
At least. So, you know,
and then listen, we'll get on the acai and start living through science.
That's right.
Hey,
God bless science. God bless science.
I believe in science, and thus, therefore, I will live through science myself here shortly.
I agree. I trust the science that presents the science to trust.
Me too.
The main point is, hey, you're taking your shot to take a chance at following your passion. And as you said, you're still a fairly young man. You're still in your prime, and now's the time, because corporations will always be there.
Yeah,
they will always be there, willing to take your time and exchange it for money. But let's be real. From the PGF, you are putting your body on the line.
Oh yeah,
that's just a part of it. And for only so long can a person's body take that type of beating day after day and still recover enough to be at that high level of competition ability. And you're there right now. So hey, I commend you. Take your shot and see how far you can take it. Like I said, corporate life is always going to be there. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I mean, I know so. It's like you said, it's always going to be there, and it's just like it's a fire inside that I know has a purpose, and I'm trying to put that purpose to good use. And then, like I mentioned, I want to spread jiu-jitsu. I want to have an environment where I can train and teach. And I've been lucky enough to train under Sean Stootman at Silverback Academy, now Ascend Jiu-Jitsu. And, he's helped me grow so much as a grappler, and to just be able, and under Tom DeBlas, even above, underneath, or Tom, Sean, being in that Tom DeBlas affiliation has been nothing but a blessing for me. And learning from these guys has made me grow at a rapid pace. I just hope to kind of take what they've taught me and hope to touch someone else the way that they've helped me and pass that along at some point. So I think that, again, like I said, this is just a huge opportunity to put that dream into motion.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, man. How does somebody not root for you? Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's like, this is why we do this, so people can get to know the guys. It's like, I like that guy,
Yeah. Well, I was talking to my mother-in-law before I got on here, actually, because she might be PGF's biggest fan, honestly.
Oh yeah.
She top to bottom could tell you all about season 5, was in on every, did you hear this post-fight interview? And like, sometimes, we're getting back to the house. We haven't seen the stream. Like, so
yeah.
Right.
We watch it back and we're like, we're not catching all the stuff that they're catching at home, but she caught every bit. So, she was like, she's thrilled to hear that I was on this season. And I was talking to her before I got on here tonight, and I'm like, should I go on here and like talk some shit, or just, go in there and be myself? And she said, I think you should just go be yourself. So that's
hey, listen, a little shit talk is fine. These
do
guys
both.
do it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's me. I'll talk. I love to talk shit. So
you
a person, but I love to talk some shit.
You see Elijah all the time. He's like,
oh yeah. Oh, I just talking. I'm trying to take notes, He's,
I love that guy.
He's
He's
little finger every
hilarious.
now and then, and just salute to Elijah.
Well, shout your mother-in-law out. Give her a holler.
Hey, shout out to Marianne Taylor, my mother-in-law. Maybe my biggest fan, either her or my wife. I don't know. It's up for toss. She's a huge supporter, though. As is everybody. My mom and dad, my wife, my kids. But it's cool to have like my mother-in-law just like, asking questions. And shit, we watching UFC every Saturday. She's just a fight fan, really. She likes jiu-jitsu. She likes MMA, and she's just a really positive, good person. And, I'm fortunate to have that kind of supporter in my corner.
Cool.
So something we see on the PGF every once in a while is we will get a couple of like, D1 wrestlers or just really good wrestlers. And it's almost like we get a little bit of a wrestle off just because they want to see what's what, see who's the man. I'm thinking like Randy Roden and Jake Elkins. in season 2, which was just a phenomenal exchange. We got some guys got some serious wrestling background out there besides yourself. I mean, PJ Barch, Andy Varela, any of these 20 competitors. Like, you know what? Maybe we just want to see who takes down who first. Is there anyone that you kind of like circle like, okay, I think I got this guy?
I mean, I still obviously I've got that wrestler ego inside me that's like, I'm not gonna let somebody take me down. But now that I've again, that season 5 experience coming into play, you got 6 minutes. Sometimes it might take 3 minutes to take somebody down. And the idea of wearing someone, I mean, when I remember this this podcast when we were going into season 5, and I was like, I'll be able to break people in it's 6 fucking minutes. These guys are all killers. They're all in shape. You can go balls to the wall for 6 minutes, and it's going to be hard to break someone, honestly. So you've really got to apply the physical pressure to make them feel it, but you've got to have that technical advantage, and you can't really waste time. And it's going to sting to say this, but in this rule set, wrestling it can take up too much time. So, you got to learn when to pull that shoot and maybe switch it up. Somebody might have to get on. But I saw on the qualifier, they got the flag now. So is that going to be a part of the season 6, or is that just?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they might force that anyways, but I've kind of learned how to swallow my pride on that whole I can take you down mentality, because I know I can take just about anybody down given enough time. But under this rules and these circumstances, I got 6 minutes to get it done. And if wrestling is taking up too much time, and maybe pulling guard will get me the submission faster or get the action flowing quicker, then I'm going to be the bigger man. And, I'd rather get my arm raised at the end than say, oh, I got a takedown, but it was a draw. So I've gotten plenty of takedowns in my life. I'm looking for kills and subs.
No, I love it, man. That shows a true veteran of the PGF right here. A person knows how it is, who's lived it. And wow, I mean, that's just super mature, super smart. That sets you up for this season. Just that recognition and that seasoned experience. That's huge. And if you go to pgf.world, they have a section that has the full rule set. It's in there. It hasn't been advertised as much, but you can read it later on.
All right, I'll check it out. But yeah, I thought the flag was pretty interesting. It's again, 6 minutes is not a lot of time, so you got to get that action going at some point. Standing
apparently
and pulling for 5 minutes ain't gonna get it done.
There were a few matches last season that took a little long, and I think that was the catalyst to say, hey, we might need a get down rule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the rule? I think it's after a minute.
20 seconds. I think it's 20 seconds. If nobody's taking a shot and you're just kind of doing the dancing bears thing,
okay,
you got about 20 seconds until he throws the flag. People are just like hand biting, the little patty cake thing. No, I mean we've had that from competitors before. It's very rare that the PGF has a bad match, but sometimes you might get 2 big guys. They're like, I don't really want the bottom position on this big dude, and then this guy's like, I don't want the bottom position guy on this dude. And so then you get dancing bears for 6 minutes or for 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes until somebody realizes, wait a second, we're both gonna get a draw and get no points, and just still until somebody finally pulls guard. So this should keep that from happening, because honestly, I mean, obviously you're a phenomenal wrestler, but a number of jiu-jitsu competitors are crap wrestlers, and so if you get 2 crap wrestlers up there, it's not exciting, and they're just like can't get their grips and whatever. But we also have, not only the get down, the stalling running away rules everywhere. So if you got that one guy that has a hell of a guard that starts butt scooting, you start resetting all the time. Just happens to be resetting away from them all the time. You're gonna get called. I mean, you don't do that. You go straight at people the whole damn time, and we all love you for it.
Yeah,
but that is a rule that we will see a lot more in this season.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I was not aware of that, but I am happy to hear it, because I mean, I know I keep saying it, but 6 minutes is not a lot of time. And if even if you're pushing the action and someone's running from you, that's enough to hold you up and eat away at that time. And next thing you know, you're standing at a draw. So I'm glad to hear that they've put something in place. I know there was some even highlighted in the documentary some shit talk about some certain people that were running and some edits.
Oh, listen. It's out there. You can say it. You're talking about Kimoy and Nick. The incident. Yeah, we saw it.
So I guess there's no secret. And I'm guessing that maybe they should name that rule the Kimoy rule. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that they put that in place, because that it's not what people want to see. And this being such a spectator friendly event and week, you don't want that lull. You don't want to lose people's attention. You want that action-packed, people going for kills nonstop.
Yeah, that the PGF is made for the viewer at home. It's to entertain. Yeah, it's still combat, but it is designed to keep you interested and push the action. Yeah. So yeah, we don't like boring matches. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It took the combat and they made it into a sport by making it 6 minutes, as you said, very compact. You have to be going. If you want to get that submission, you're going to have to work the whole time. Having kills be worth 6 points and breaks be worth 3. So that means, hey, now you have a reason to get that pass, to pass the guard, to get the back, to get a choke however you can, as opposed to just sitting back, for a leg lock, which, by the way, this season, you get a chance to sit back for that leg lock, you take it then. You take anything you can get. They're all killers. But it still has the incentive. I mean, having the elbow genie rule for getting a bonus point within a sub and within 1 minute. Again, pushing the action, just making it exciting. And now with the somewhat of the get down rule, the stalling rules, it just keeps ratcheting up the incentive to keep it wild and exciting and fan friendly. We're gonna have some amazing matches, no question.
No, without a doubt, there's going to be highlight reel after highlight reel on this season. It's going to be awesome.
No, we didn't even ask you about the coaches. It's like, what did you think about those?
Dude, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, bro, the lineup of coaches that we have, not only are they legends, but people pay hundreds of dollars to go listen to them for a couple hours for seminars. Yeah. We're getting paid to come compete under them and learn from them for a week. It's like, it's amazing. I'm so pumped, to even just be around some of these guys, to pick their brains. Depending on whose team you're on, you're going to be able to take feedback from the night before, go to train the next day, maybe workshop a couple things and a couple positions, and just to hear their coaching on these certain things. Like, you did this last night, tweak this and this, and then go implement it that night and see the success it's going to be incredible. So I'm super pumped about the coaches. Again, just to be around them, to learn from them. And yeah, I mean, it's top to bottom. Every coach is second to none. Like, they're literally Hall of Fame. Every one of them Hall of Fame guys. So it's awesome.
I mean, just to reiterate, if people don't know, which I can't believe they wouldn't know if they're listening to us right now, but also we have Hajar Gracie, the GOAT competitor of all jiu-jitsu, Higan Machado, who has like an insane record as a competitor himself, but also, a coach to the stars, and just part of one of those people that first brought jiu-jitsu to the United States. Andre Galval, ADCC Hall of Famer, IBJJF Hall of Famer, founder of Atos, just an insane competitor himself and an insane coach, as he continues to do. And of course, Eddie Bravo, founder of 10th Planet, the godfather of no-gi jiu-jitsu. I mean, you just can't go wrong. But because we ask questions, that we had to ask this. Which one would you
You're going to ask it.
I know what's coming.
You had to know what's coming. I mean, it's telegraphed.
And I mean, like I said, any team that I end up on, I will be better from it. I will learn from it. I will improve from it. It's going to be fucking amazing. But if I have to be absolutely selfish and pick, for me, what I think would be the best, I got to say Andre. I just think that stylistically, Andre will be able to kind of translate things that I can implement, after one night after the next, and just have the most impact on my game directly. Andre Hajar, of course, as well. Just anything out of Hajar's mouth is going to make me better at jiu-jitsu, I feel like. So, these guys are all, I could learn a lot from any one of these guys, but just like I said, being completely selfish, if I got my cream of the crop pick stylistically, I'd have to say Andre Galval, just because the way, his style and everything, and his ADCC success in the past and everything. I feel like we match up closest as far as attributes among all the coaches.
Again,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you just proved Dream's theory, because Dream said there's a lot of guys that are going to come in here and because of their style or whatever, they're probably going to pick Andre.
Yeah.
As their favorite to be, on their team or whatever. Granted, you don't get to pick, but
right.
He was saying that would be the preference for a lot of guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think, again, shows you're very thoughtful that you thought about that stylistically, because like so many people, when we ask the question, like they just jump right away to Hodger.
Yeah.
Got it, the GOAT, got it. But in a lot of people, in our experience, just in interview people, it's amazing that they almost like don't think about Andre Galval, which is just mind blowing. Because I remember when we first heard that he had signed on, I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
I can't believe it, and I'm still shocked. I mean, every time you hear those names all together, like this is really happening.
Yeah, I mean, that was my reaction when I heard. I was like, "They got who? Like they got who? They got who? Like Yeah, I mean, as something I've definitely put a lot of thought into. Hadn't a day gone past that I haven't thought about PGF or strategy towards the PGF since they've announced season 6. Every day I'm thinking, what can I do to make myself in a better place to win this tournament? Who will supplement that, from a coaching standpoint, everything. Like I said, I've put a lot of thought into it. I'm going to put a lot more thought into it over the next month leading up to it. But again, like I said, I think Andre stylistically for me, just will have the most impact right away on my game.
Fuck yeah. Are you coming by yourself, or are you coming with any of your coaches?
So I've talked to my coach about it. We haven't finalized anything. I would love for my coach, Sean Stoopman, to come along. I know we're allowed to get one coach, with us. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to make the trip, but we haven't, written it in some or anything yet. So I'm hoping that he'll be there, but not for sure yet.
Matt will be there, right?
Oh yeah, Matt's going to be there for sure. So I'll have.
So he'll be your plan B.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure he'll love to hear that. I ain't no plan B, motherfucker.
No disrespect, Matt. No disrespect.
No whatsoever. None.
No, but I mean, even Matt would encourage me to have Sean in my corner, just because he knows Sean and he knows what a great coach he is for myself and for Matt. So, to have Sean in my corner out there, I think for a comfort level, number one, just being used to hearing his voice while I'm competing. It just kind of, I'm in my prime. I'm in my zone when he's in my corner. Not that I'm not if he's not there, because I can find, I find ways to tap into that mode one way or another. But having him in the corner is just, a little extra gear for me, a little extra cherry on top. So yeah, I think, if he can make the trip, great. If not, we're still going to get it done one way or another, but it would be nice to have him out there. And I mean, even like just, I love the way that Sean coaches me in the corner. He's kind of like, even when I was wrestling growing up, it's like you have this way of tuning out all the noise, but you can hear your coach's voice. And good corners, there's a lot of bad corners out there. If you go to any jiu-jitsu tournament at any level, you're going to hear, the squeeze or get up, just like the shit.
Breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, of course. But like Sean's way of coaching is very direct. And there's a certain amount of guys out there that have a really good way of relaying the message with urgency and with accuracy. And another takeaway from season 5, I got to sit next to Sean Applegate during the finale.
Yep.
And I was just like, holy shit, dude, this guy's like the fucking GOAT of the corner, like just super calm, super direct, super clear. And it was just like him and his fighters. Like I think it was Kevin Buring, who's on this season, who just ran through that whole quintet. It was like they were connected, like they were synced up. And, you know, as he was saying it, he was doing it. And it was just like another testament to like how important it is to have a good corner and how much it can really help you.
Man, for as long as I can remember, he's always coached like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been calm. He's never yelling at people. It's like, oh, good, good, get him off balance, you know, and you know, it's like there's like it's almost like he's got a book and he's going down the line what he wants them to do, and they, you know, they do it. It's
short, actionable advice. It's like, do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want you to think about that. And but you said calm, but like you said, very collected. Okay, now this. Okay, now you got that. All right, now we're gonna do this. And again, it's just something you can just follow, like paint by freaking numbers. But you know, it's how to choke the crap out of people.
Yeah. And these guys are pretty good at it.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you started talking about good corners, I mean, immediately I was thinking Sean Applegate, because we heard it. Well, I first heard it during PGF season 3 when he was coaching a team, and we just heard that all the time, and it was amazing. And not only because like he's so good at it, he's able to start faking out the opponents. You know, but like, oh no, he doesn't have that. I'm like, what? Maybe I don't have this. And they listen to him.
And that's kind of something that my coach, Sean Stubman, does too. He's pretty good at like playing that mental game of like, he knows what they're trying to do, and he knows kind of how to like throw some shade at it and make him kind of maybe himself. And I know that's what he's doing. So it's that connection. Again, it's just like another level of comfort, knowing that you've got that extra set of eyes on you, and you know that they know what they're doing.
So looking at the competitors, I mean, I know we've asked you who you want to go after, and yes, everyone.
All of them.
But hold on. We're going to give a wrinkle. We're going to give a wrinkle, a little twist.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to have 4 teammates. Is there anyone you'd like to have as a teammate that you might be able to like get something from, or you think it'd be fun to hang out with for a week, because you're going to be with them for a week? So any thoughts on that?
I mean, that's a tough question, because for like anybody that I say that I want to be my teammate, I'm going to sound like I don't want to fight them. And that's not the case, because I'm down to fight any one of these guys.
Well, I mean, so we have history here, though. Nick Creighton was your teammate, right? And you subsequently subbed him at a competition, so you're down to fight whoever,
right?
I have no problem with that. Yeah, we know that,
right? So I mean, and that's a good point. Any one of these guys, I'm going to see on the competition scene, any one of these, big tournaments at any point. I mean, I got to say Andy, just because he's an ADCC vet. Stylistically, he's like wild and wide open and flying all over the place, and athletic jiu-jitsu, athletic wrestle jitsu, which is kind of like, what I want to example my game off of. And so, being able to learn from him and spend time with him. Also, he's pretty fly. He's got dope style. I like to step out and in my little streetwear every now and then and look a little fly. So, I want to start.
Bro, you're a model. Come on. We've seen you. You just strutting and shit,
Hey, yeah, man, he's got a certain swag.
We know you get down.
Hey, I got a little swag myself. So I feel like he and I, we might be able to get along, to have some common ground anyway. And again, just him being such a legend in the sport, just being around him, I feel like is going to lift me up. And anyone, some of these guys like Kieran being on the B team and being in that room every day, I think I'll be able to get a little bit of taste of that B team style. But also, you got Davis Asari with New Wave, so being on his team and kind of seeing that system and how he works and how he operates on the day to day would be beneficial too. And I mean, I could go down the list, honestly. PJ Barch as well, being a legend and an active competitor that's super tough, stepping up there on the toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the sport. Just getting to see any of these guys and their routines and how they approach things and maybe pick their brain a little bit on the day-to-day is going to help me. So again, I'm, according to the preseason rankings, low on the totem pole. So I can gain a lot of knowledge from all these guys ahead of me.
I mean, so you remember?
Go ahead.
No, so
I was just gonna say that's no pressure to you because you're in the lower rank. So
I love that shit. Yeah. I love it. I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So, I'm finding ways to motivate myself, finding ways to tell myself, hey, they disrespected you. So, go disrespect them and show them where you belong on that list. So,
heck yeah. But I mean, I know you're worried about people thinking that you don't want to fight these people, but remember how it rolled with the Yankees. I mean, you're out to get $100,000, my brother. You want these top guys on your team.
Yeah.
Okay. Granted, you can mess with them later in the finale tournament or some other tournament down the road. Yeah. But right now, the first step is getting that $100,000.
Yeah.
So whoever you can, however you can get assembled on the team. I mean, it might play in your favor that you're ranked low, because somebody that might overspend or just spend a lot on these top 4 or 5 guys. If it turns out that you're towards the end and there's not much left, then boom, you might just get on one of the best teams by virtue of them not doing the research.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. I mean, there's money on the line, so I want the best guys in the draft on my team. So, if I got to pick, I'm going to go ahead and just say Andy. I'm going to say Davis Asari. I'm going to say Elijah Carlton and myself. And then we got one more, right? So PJ.
That's stacked team.
I mean, fuck yeah.
So there's no luxury tax.
Let's just give you the money right now.
There's no luxury tax. Don't think that's going to be possible.
Yeah. Hey, American dream, right?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, if you're going to name names, might as well, go for the gusto.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, they'll fight you too.
Yeah. And then, like you said, hopefully I'm on the best team, and that means all of my teams qualifying for that finale, and I'll get a chance to prove that I'm not scared to fight the guys on my team and that I can take home that additional $20,000. There
you go. I mean, because and you learn, and we haven't talked about this as much, and a lot of people haven't, that in each block, each of the 12 blocks, whichever team, their total team members have the most points, that's an additional point for every member on that team. So,
extra points.
So we saw, Travis Thomas, and it was on the documentary, he actually scored more points than Elijah did if you take out the team points, because Elijah was on Team Epic Roll of the Yankees.
Yeah.
So it can be huge. I mean, you think about it. If one team gets all 12 points, that's 2 kills. That's 2 kills that each member gets, just bonus.
Yeah. That's definitely something to take in consideration, especially when there's $100,000 on the line. Every point is going to matter. So those team points, they're going to rack up. And they'll also help you get into that finale too. They're a little extra bonus on top. I hate to say it, but even myself last year, I was knocking on the door at making the finale and really only had 2 subs in the DQ. So there's something to be said for those little extra bonus points in there. They go a long way. They add up over time.
For sure.
Definitely.
Hey, final question before we go. If you win it, are we going to Sizzler?
Hell yeah, we are.
We going Sizzler. We going Sizzler.
Well, we're in Vegas, baby. We're going Bellagio buffet. We're gonna step it up a little bit.
We're in Vegas.
Oh, bro,
we don't have to go down to Longhorn anymore. We can go.
Sizzlers is an Isco staple. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah. But
all right,
hey, man, when I win it, take you anywhere you want, Wallow.
Hell yeah, you heard it here, bro. All right, before we go, why don't you give a shout out to your sponsors, your family, and whoever you want to send a shout out to.
All right, yeah. So obviously, Epic Roll, major shout out to Epic Roll. I can't thank them enough. They've been rocking with them for a long time. Going to continue to rock with them till the wheels fall off. So thank you to Epic Roll. Thank you to my coach, Sean Stoopman at Ascend Jiu-Jitsu. My strength and conditioning coach, Asim Fayez, who keeps me looking nice and puffy. Even though right now getting down to 77, I'm getting a little lean, but it looks good. It looks like I'm ready for beach season. So shout out to him. Shout out to Two Minds, who is another one of my sponsors who takes care of basically all my travel for competing. They are the dopest of the dope high-end luxury boutiques up in New York City and down in Miami. My dear friend Jesse Dong, who is one of the owners. Again, I wrestled with Jesse in college. So a little short story. Jesse and I wrestled together in college, best friends, carrying on after college, and huge grappling fan, huge jiu-jitsu fan, not a practitioner. One of the guys that we need more of to grow jiu-jitsu. He doesn't train jiu-jitsu. He's a boxer, but he loves keeping up with it, and he loves the PGF. And I mean, he's hitting me up with news before I've even heard about it. So anyway, I got a little off track, but shout out to Two Minds for doing what they do. Shout out to Peak Performance, who takes care of me physically. Actually, I was there today getting a little tune up for trials. So, Peak Performance, massage and recovery, taking care of me. And, Tom DeBlas Jiu-Jitsu, can't be prouder to be a part of that affiliation and to be able to know Tom and work with Tom. So that's my squad. Shout out to my family, my wife, Harley, my daughters, Penelope and Wilder, my mother-in-law, Marianne, my mom and dad, my brother, nieces, sister-in-law, the whole team, that is my support system, and that is my whole world. So I'm can never, ever thank them enough for all that they do. I just hope.
And on that note, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your comments. Sorry we didn't get to them. We're trying to talk to Cam here, and we'll catch you on the next one. I don't know when we're doing the next one. We've done 3 episodes this week, so we'll see. Maybe this weekend or next week. But we'll catch you next time.
Whenever, because pretty soon I'm going to be the 77 kilogram ADCC champion for West Coast Trials. I'm going to be the PGF Season 6 winner. I'm going to be on the winning team. I'm going to be a human highlight reel, and it's going to be fun to watch. So thank you guys so much for having me, and I hope to be back soon.
Hell yeah. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace. Adios.